And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show. And this is going to be episode 496. So I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK Show, we actually have one topic for you guys tonight for this episode of the MSK Show, and that is going to be on Dragon Ball Super is coming back huge. So I did an episode of the MSK Show. I forgot which episode number it was. It was with King Style, actually, and we were giving, our thoughts and opinions on, the Dragon Ball franchise, whether it be like, manga, anime, sub, actually. And what's ended up happening at this point is that we actually had a Dragon Ball event that happened, in Japan. Well, it was live streamed, obviously, and it had a lot of really awesome announcements for the future of the franchise, actually, which is really awesome because there really hasn't been a whole lot of, Dragon Ball anything in quite some time as far as, what's been consistently going on. Essentially we had like the Dragon Ball Renaissance. You had Dragon Ball Super Battle of the Gods movie. Then you had the Dragon Ball Super Resurrection of Frieza. Then you obviously had the anime after that. Then, this is actually not a common thing in anime where like you have the manga that comes like after the anime. So like they had a Dragon Ball Super manga to correlate with the anime, which is usually vice versa, obviously.
Cross promotion. I'll take over here, MSK. Usually the manga comes out first, and if it's successful enough, the anime acts as a direct adaptation. Dragon Ball Super was a little different, and if I went to the semantics of it all, we'd be here all night. But to make it a long story short, we're now after I would say now 7-year hiatus because Akira Toriyama's passing, rest in peace, was an understandable factor. That was a factor. We have to be objective about it. Because Super was originally taken off the air, to prioritize One Piece, some of the more modern names, and then go right back where Broly left off. But Toei decided to prioritize One Piece, and Dragon Ball just fell into the back burner for a couple of years. But we at least have Xenoverse and Sparking Zero. But I digress. But all in all, to get to this main point, we're now to build momentum. We're getting Super remake, at least a remake of the Beerus art now. And then we got the announcement for Moro and everything from that.
Yeah.
But I will say this though: if there is one arc, I should say two arcs. If I had to give 2 arcs that don't need remakes, better animation notwithstanding, is the revival of F/Golden Frieza Saga, because that literally was just a grudge match. You could just go off. You could just do the original movie version what's it called, and nothing story-wide would change. You really could just skip it. And the Tournament of Power, because there's no overarching story with the Tournament of Power. It's just a battle royale. It's one big fight. Right. It's one big brawl. Unless you're literally going to go out of your way to redo the animation from the ground up, it's really not worth the effort.
True. So for me, I think there's a lot that boils down to it. But before I get into that, guys, very similar to how I did that last Dragon Ball MSK Show episode with King Style, I'm not going to do an actual video like I normally would do because Jay Heat's been here when I did the actual videos with them. We're just going to go to one of the articles that are just going to go over everything. Right now, I'm just giving my base summary of, what I've been thinking about Dragon Ball so far. So, and you are right. There's been Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Kakarot, and Sparking Zero. Those are like the biggest video games for Dragon Ball. I mean, outside of the anime.
When there was a Fortnite ripoff, like what was it called, Time Break or something like that?
Yeah, it was basically all that fan servicey stuff, like a bunch of time traveling and shit like that. Like you had, I forgot what it was called. Oh my god, Dragon Ball Heroes. Actually, was Dragon Ball Heroes? I'm pretty sure it was Dragon Ball Heroes.
Yeah, there was. Oh, that's right. Dragon Ball Heroes did get a promotional anime. I forgot all about it.
Yeah. So essentially, like outside of pretty much Dragon Ball Super, so you got Dragon Ball Super the anime, we've had 4 movies, the popular video games that have come out. You know,
They-
Dragon Ball's been doing pretty fine overall.
Yeah.
There's been a slew of consistent stuff that has come out. A lot of it has stuck. You know, some of it hasn't. I will say Fighter Z has been actually, man, I love playing that game sometimes.
It's still being played competitively in esports and settings like that. Now, granted, the game as a video game, as a product, its shelf life is long gone. Let's be objective.
Oh, yeah.
But it is still being played competitively. So that is still.
Did you play Sparking Zero? Because I know Sparking Zero came out. That's the one that's not as looked fond upon as like Kakarot.
They overhyped it. They wanted it to be Budokai Tenkaichi 4, and they just completely overhyped it. If you remember Budokai Tenkaichi,
I played all of them.
Budokai Tenkaichi, you know what I'm talking about.
I know. Yeah.
Dude, you would break your controller. The beam struggles and the crossplay alone.
Dude, I will say this though: Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1 and 2, man, the openings, like the actual cinematic openings they put together for those games were beautiful. Like, you guys should go back and if you haven't seen this opening in a while, or intro as they call them sometimes,
you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, go watch the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 opening. Such a banger, actually. Man, shit was so good. So yeah, like Sparking Zero, they also added in some new characters, or I don't know if they're added currently in. I know they're probably coming later, but like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Some of those characters you wanted are just not that interesting, though.
Should have been in the base, mostly GT, Super Saiyan Bardock. They really should have been in the base roster, but I get it. Synergy, Super is more popular. I understand it.
Yeah. I know I was watching something about the game where they had like a Gohan kind of black story arc. That sounds like a kind of cool what if. That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Gohan always did have crazy potential, so why not?
Right, yeah. It's just whenever you talk about Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, it's just people are talking about it being dead and there's no map innovation and a bunch of other stuff. I will say
the story mode is atrocious. It is just it's just a basic skim through of a certain character's perspective and the arcs they're relevant in. The story mode is atrocious, but the what ifs more than make up for it. Now, granted, are as good as the Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3 what ifs? No, because some of those what ifs were wacky. Some of them were very
I would say Budokai 2 had better like what if scenarios you could do with like the fusions and stuff. You know?
Yeah, like what if Gogeta and Vegito fought? Who would win? What if Raditz turned good and got amnesia? Shout out to Masako X.
Oh my god.
So, hey, I hate to be that guy, but Masako, the Budokai 2 technically beat you to it.
The thing is, I've did this a lot with Yu-Gi-Oh! 2. So what I've noticed is okay, like when you talk about Dragon Ball on Twitter, most people are talking specifically, if you're talking about like the United States audience where it came out through Funimation back in the day.
International market. I know what you're talking about.
They're talking about the dub. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I am, because I'm always that guy in every scenario possible my entire life.
Wait, we're talking about the Ocean dub or the 2000s dub?
That's the problem. That's the key, though. Most people have kind of compiled all the dubs together. I remember them. I actually do, because I remember the distinct voices each of the guys had. So I was going to understand, outside of like highs and lows, okay, that dub overall is really not that good.
The Ocean dub is atrocious. It's funny, but it is atrocious.
Yeah. Actually, if I'm being completely honest here, I was one of those, I'm not saying haters. I really didn't get the significance of Dragon Ball Z Kai initially when it was coming out. Because to me, in my brain, I thought, wait a minute, I've already seen everything about this. Why are we getting... Because, like, that was the period where... Do you remember, like, back in the day when, like, Dragon Ball Z Kai would come out? Everything you had already bought on DVD was getting, like, re-released in Ultra HD and all that. Well, I was like, why are we doing this?
It was a glorified remaster. And after Dragon Ball Evolution came out, Toriyama was pissed.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, now, what's crazy is I actually appreciate Dragon Ball Z Kai a lot more than I did, because I didn't really fully appreciate why they did it back then, but now I understand why they did, because, you know, those two dubs you mentioned were, well, I mean...
Okay, the Bruce...
They were having some fun.
Okay, the Fountainer score carried the late 90s, the original Funimation dub.
I feel like the original dub finally finds its footing in the Boo arc, as far as like, you know, like actual voice lines, you know?
Okay, I'm about to say the Ocean Dub they restructure and change production teams around Cell, because the Ocean Dub goes all the way up to Namek. Then one rotation of Funimation, or a precursor to Funimation, takes over around the Cell saga. But but Bruce Faulkner's score, man. I mean, allegedly some of it was plagiarized, but those always
and I know some of the stories with him, like he doesn't give credit to the other guys that worked on it to make it work. I know he sued Funimation before and stuff like that. I will say, like, because the thing with music, people understand music is weird to debate with people because music is a kind of a feeling thing. Like, there's genres of music that a lot of people love that I just can't get into for the time of my life. So, like, rock. I'm not really like a rock person. I'm not really like a scream person, or screamo, as they say. I'm not really like one of those alternative punk rock people. I don't find that music interesting.
It's the vibe, man. It's got to be the vibe.
Yeah, music is a complete like vibe. So if someone says they like the Bruce Faulkner score, I agree with you. I think it's actually very good. And I do think, more of the conversation around that should be anyone that was involved with making that score should be praised. I agree. It's actually, not even just nostalgia. It is actually not that bad.
It's a genuinely good score. Like, for real.
Yeah. Now, is it overplayed at wrong times when there should be serious moments? Sure.
Oh,
but it is. But to be fair to Dragon Ball Z, to a lot of dub animes used to have that back in the day. Because I know when people single out Dragon Ball for that, if you go back and watch a lot of the anime you loved dub wise, a lot of the scores are played at moments where they shouldn't be played. Yeah. But if you're talking about just a pure score, I think the score is fine. I still love hearing it. Actually, because people always say, why don't they ever splice like Dragon Ball Z Kai and the Falcon score together? You can literally watch that on YouTube. Just type it in.
Just watch.
Honestly, that is the best. That if you're asking my own personal opinion, the best way to watch the dub, Kai Falcon score, you really can't go wrong. You're really just good to go. And people have to factor in the reason why Kai exists is because, well, dubbing for those shows weren't really that good. Like I said before, the Boo arc, it kind of finds its stride there.
It found its footing by the time you get to the Boo arc.
Oh my god. You're the part where Vegeta's like, you were enjoying yourself before when you were sucking the life out of Kakarot. Out of context, that sounds gay as hell. Just out of context, that sounds really fucking gay. So it's one of these things where, keep in mind, guys, it is a preference. And I've also noticed this with Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. A lot of people have just never given the time to watch the actual sub version. I will say this. I need to actually go through the Dragon Ball subbed a lot more. I'm
say what you will about subtitles, but there's a lot of nuance you miss out in the dub version.
Yeah, because what I've noticed in so like we'll use Yu-Gi-Oh! For example, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime, which 4Kids dub from Japan. There's scenes in it they straight up cut out if you watch the sub version. Scenes that actually make what you're watching a lot better than what you've seen. And there's lines that they cut out. So that wasn't even bad. Like how 4Kids were like, we're not going to have certain scenes and dialogue, right?
4Kids
right. There's, dude, if anyone goes and watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters subbed, there's shit in there that's not that bad at all. Why did they cut it out? Dude, I don't know if you watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Before. You're the episode where Kaiba summons Obelisk against Umbra and Loomis and he beats them. There's a moment after it in the sub where Merrick realizes that Obelisk has now chosen Kaiba as his owner. Champion. Why? It's cut out. If you watch the dub, it's cut. Why did they cut the scene out? It's nothing. What? You can't have someone be a master to someone in an anime? That's like the number one thing in an anime, having a teacher and a student. Like, what the fuck?
Like I said, it was the 2000s, man. Censorship was atrocious.
Dude, so I agree with you. I agree. But there was nothing wrong with that scene. It's completely fine. Nothing bad happened. They can't say death. I think Yugi only said like death like once in the series.
In the shadow realm and all that. There were a lot of death connotations.
Yeah. So and then people would be like, well, MSK, why are you recommending the sub? Because no offense, that's not the real show. If it's cut up, chopped up, censored,
and redistributed
multiple times. It's not just once, like you said. It's been hundreds of different DVDs that have tried to remaster Dragon Ball, not just the original like Z and GT and all that stuff. Like, if a show is chopped up and there's certain scenes you've never seen and there's dialogue that you need to know to make the context better of how like the show is going, yeah, I would argue you've not watched the real show. I would argue that most dubs, especially Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh, if you watch the dub versions, I'm not saying this. Dragon Ball's a little bit more better with this than Yu-Gi-Oh, I will say. You might as well just be watching a parody of the other. Now, keep in mind, it's all preference, obviously. But
I will admit, Team 4 Stars of Dragon Ball Bridge is hilarious. Highly recommend.
Yes, I do. It's just one of those things where when someone tells me they've only consumed the Dragon Ball dub, I'm like, well, I guess, you know what? It's you know that meme of that guy who puts his hand on the other guy's shoulder and he smiles like this? That's literally like when these people on Twitter are like, hey, man, 4Kids dub for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duma. No, actually, oh, God. It has its moments. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm not saying it's ultra-simply awful in every regard. But if you, I'll say this. If you watch the sub version of Dragon Ball Z, you don't have to watch Dragon Ball. I recommend you do. The Dragon Ball fandom is so cringe now, not recommending people watch Dragon Ball to go to Dragon Ball Z. What?
Oh, what? Some people to this day think Dragon Ball is a prequel. No, Dragon Ball is one overarching thing. The Z portion, the whole Z thing, that was a rebrand for the anime.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That is purely for the anime. But if you track down the manga, it is all Dragon Ball from.
Dude, have you seen that recently? People are literally saying, so like people go like, how do I get into Dragon Ball? They just say, just watch Z, forget Dragon Ball. What?
Dragon Ball is more of a OG Dragon Ball is more of a Journey to the West parody.
Yes.
But it's still thrilling and action-packed enough. You can get through it. I mean, binge-wise, you can get through all of OG Dragon Ball in like a month.
Right. It's so cringe when people say, oh, I can't get through Dragon Ball. It's too long, as they literally binge watch like 8 seasons of a show they just found on Netflix. It's that was always to me a full-blown cop out. But for me, it's just
excuse me.
God, once you actually watch the sub versions of these shows, you will actually, I might
appreciate them more.
Actually, you're right. You appreciate them more, and you don't like the dub as much though. And keep in mind, your level of liking and disliking is different from mine.
Objective.
Everyone's is why, right? But I will say, I've loved the shows more after watching them sub. And there's certain lines in dialogue. Like, okay, so when Kaiba dueled Alistar in the subbed Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a line in it where he quite literally says, Kaiba says, I've transcended common sense. Not kidding. Go look right now.
No. I've seen the sub. I know what you're talking about.
He literally says, I transcended. Does that sound like, yes, it does. But then we get gay shit in the fucking 4Kids stuff, third-rate duelist, fourth-rate deck. Do you guys know what Kaiba calls Joey in the subbed Yu-Gi-Oh version? He calls him a deadbeat. Calls him a literal deadbeat.
A bum. I mean, he kind of is.
All right, keep in mind. I will say, though, subbed or dubbed Yu-Gi-Oh, Kaiba's writing's pretty solid. But if you compare, Stuart versus Kevin Tsuchihiro, who does Kaiba's voice acting in the sub, it is not gonna lie. I love my guy who does Brock, but god damn, no, my boy in the sub just does it with it.
He takes that apart.
Type in English dub deep eyes white dragon summoning and compare that to the sub. Then you will. It's a 30-second thing. You can watch it in your free time. You'll do it right now. Obviously, if you're not watching the show, do it on your own. What I'm saying is, once you watch the sub versions of all your favorite animes, you're gonna look at those dub versions and go, "Why was I ever?" But keep in mind, exposure and how you get into something is a different
distribution and all that. Back to our main topic. Okay, yes. I will say this before we move forward because I just remembered this.
Okay,
I literally cringed when I watched GT the first time as a kid, and I the reason I say that,
shit. Dude, people talk about Dragon Ball Z being a shit dub. God, GT just beer.
No. Not only GT's dub was bad, the soundtrack was bad. Like, why the hell is this a rap? like in the sub, it is supposed to be majestic. It's supposed to be an amalgamation of everything that came to this point. And I'm watching 90s cool kid rap. I might as well be listening to Will Smith.
It's over 9,000.
Oh, do you remember that moment the GT dubbed and stuff that everyone keeps talking about, where like it's the Super Saiyan 4 thing after they split apart against Mega Shenron. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Do you remember when he's like, if you want to be good, just be good. But in the sub, the whole line structure is different. It's like, I don't know if people want to go, but that's Granny Go. It's so cringe. Guys, just understand this before we get to the topic. The whole thing about Granny Goku, let's just say this. First of all, she is amazing at what she does. She is fucking phenomenal at voice acting.
Natsuko Nozawa. She is a master.
How can anyone disrespect Vegeta's subbed voice actor? Even if you don't like the Granny Goku, which is stupid anyway. Vegeta's voice actor is fucking awesome.
Nozawa. Wait, who is? No, seriously.
Dude, have you read through this? They literally can't watch the sub because they say Goku sounds like a grandma. I'm not kidding you.
Nozawa is 85 years old. What are we even talking about?
But keep in mind. How were you guys watching Dragon Ball Super before the dub version came out? Keep in mind. You said you don't like her voice acting. How the fuck were you watching that Dragon Ball Super dub? That shit didn't come out for like almost a year or two after the sub started. But apparently you don't like her. Fucking, I love catching people in lies. But no, I will say this though. Guys, these are Japanese people. The animes you like are created by Japanese people. They should probably sound like Japanese people. It's so weird when someone says, "Hey, I watched this anime and subbed and they sound Japanese."
That's their culture. No, that's the whole point. Like, what are you talking about?
No shit. What? That's like going in the ocean and being like, "Damn, there's fish here." Yeah, like they live there.
Okay, this is an extreme example. What I'm about to say is an extreme example. Oh, why does everyone so bash Atla? Atla's a mid-anime. I'm like, first of all, Atla's American made. What the hell are we talking about? Atla's not even an anime. First of all, Atla came out in 2005, like right after Dragon Ball ended the anime craze. You're talking about an anime craze? Live through the 2000s. Live through the fan forums and shipping wars through Bleach, and tell me.
My girl Orihime got fat titties, and that's all that matters. Even though Rukia is, it's crazy when people say that female characters can't be written very well in anime. I think Rukia is a beautifully written character.
Oh, definitely. It's just her and Ichigo wouldn't have worked relationship wise.
I don't think so either. Friends. Yeah, I don't think they would have worked out either. They don't. It's just
they're just chill.
Yeah,
they're just chill.
And keep in mind, she's like 100, and she's like thousands of years older than him too. Honestly, it's just weird. People are just weird, man. Oh God. All right, so we're going to go over what we're going to cover today. Just want to make sure I give you just here. I'll say this as a recommendation. Try the Dragon Ball or original. You can do original too. It doesn't matter. Try watching Dragon Ball sub. Just give it a chance. If you don't like it, fine. It happens.
It's completely subjective.
But at least try it and see if you like it. Don't be one of those guys where it's like, I can't read subtitles. Well, then, I'm not gonna lie, you're an idiot. And then you're a moron then. Like, just be honest, you're like, fucking hell. Like, catering to people that stupid is makes no sense. Try it
translate it to your native rate. Just take the time to read. You're not even gonna understand the audio anyway because it's a completely different language. Unless you're actually fluent in Japanese. So just read the
read the better written dialogue anyway. Frieza saying giddy up cowboy as he shanks Krillin with his head. Pause. All kinds of pause.
That is zesty as hell out of context.
Bruh.
God. Good Lord. You know.
Thank God this is a co-stream because you definitely get me demonetized by now.
I'm just saying, Dragon Ball Z Kai, guys, it's way better voice act, way better just dialogue structure. Yeah, way better. I forgot how good the Dragon Ball Z Kai's Frieza voice actor was. I think he or she passed away a long time ago, but very, very good. Awesome.
He was the second actor who voiced Frieza.
Yes, not the chain smoker. Oh my God. You remember when Trunks went Super Saiyan? What's crazy is rare moment in the Funimation dub. They actually used the Japanese OTS for Trunks turning Super Saiyan. Yeah, I didn't know that wasn't Bruce Falconer's in that scene. Beautiful scene. Go back. That shit is so good if you rewatch it. It's so awesome.
Wait, Bruce Falconer remixed it, or they just used the Japanese one?
They used the Japanese one for that one. That's There was one scene I bookmarked it on Twitter. I remember it was a subversion of like the Boo arc when Vegeta just like fucking shot that blast and killed all those people and shit. There's a freaking score there that plays that is so damn good. I'm like, damn, because like what I also noticed about watching like most of the known animes like subbed, the scores are so good. The scores are just like they just transform the scene. You like you know when Gohan transformed Super Saiyan 2 against Cell?
Yeah.
Compare that to oh my God, it's so beautiful. You see his raw emotion just there. He's just crying. The fucking music just plays and stuff. Oh my God, it's just, man, that's what I love. I love this shit. What's up, Dante? You know, man? Dragon Ball Super bring back the blood I mean, to be fair.
Okay. Say what you will about censorship and regulation. Say what you will about that. But I feel like at the end of the day, DBZ was demographed prime time. Like prime time, right at the edge of the shonen demographic, 10 to 12. Super has basically the Japanese equivalent of TVY7. Super might as well be a Saturday morning cartoon at the time of its syndication in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a completely different vibe. Censorship is a lot worse. You're not going to be able to get away with the same things.
And I will say, when we get into this, the only real problem I have with the event, not with the event itself, I thought everything was good. It's just the fact that we got no announcements on the manga, which we'll, go over in a bit here. I do kind of want to see a world where, like maybe one day I become a Super Saiyan and then I fly away to different planets and fight people. But then again, that would factor in Sydney Sweeney giving me a blowjob and stuff too, right? Right, Blaze? Guys, I'm joking. I'm just monologuing, obviously. But I will say this though. Try watching some of your favorite anime subbed. You will not regret it.
Completely different experience. Completely different experience.
You will not regret watching Dragon Ball Z subbed. Then you're not a human to me. All right. 6 things we learn from Dragon Ball's Genki Dama Matsuri event. Dragon Ball is officially back and better than it has been in a very long time. And it's all thanks to the plethora of major announcements that happen at the series' recent Genkida Matsuri event held in Japan on January 25th, 25th EST. Dragon Ball Genkida Matsuri was the grand finale of Dragon Ball's year-long 40th anniversary celebration, and it truly ended things off with a bang. Also, I will say, yes, earlier you mentioned Akira Toriyama. Man, just sucks not having that guy around. Just goddamn, he's just gone, But I will say, he created one of the most iconic IPs ever that has brought so many people around the world together, and it's just really, I'm not saying rare, but think of all the most influential things and about how
he inspired an entire generation of IPs, dead ass.
Yeah, just how many people go crazy for this? How many people have guys, there's people still debating if Kid Buu is stronger than Super Buu.
To this day.
There's people still debating if Trunks was stronger than Perfect Cell. That one is okay, fuck.
Wait, how is that even a debate? That literally that fight proves that brute strength isn't everything. Trunks he had the raw power advantage with grade 3, but he wasn't winning that fight because he was slow and bulky as hell.
Dude, I'll show you my mentions. These people are crazy. There's Dragon Ball debates that keep happening because I feel like sometimes with this show, given how old it is, if you just only have watched it in the anime, I will say most people have forgotten things that have been explained to them. Some people are still arguing something that's been explained to them several different times around, So they'll say things like, Goku's a bad dad. Okay, Goku's a bad dad. First fight against Raditz, Gohan got kidnapped, and he willingly sacrificed himself to save him. What kind of dad do you think that would be? If in real life if that happened, if someone's crazy uncle came and stole their nephew from the dad, and then he got a friend to go get the nephew back, and then the dad died fighting that guy, would you guys think of that as a bad dad? No one would, because that would be stupid. Just crazy stuff people are saying. Well, and people praising Vegeta as a dad. Guys, Vegeta straight up didn't even care if Bulma died holding Trunks in one of those when he first became a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, in their hover car. He did not care. He didn't even bother to intercept the blast. He didn't care.
It's great. Goku's a bad dad, but they're praising Vegeta as a dad. It's ridiculous. Vegeta, the same crazy.
Vegeta at best is arm candy. He's a trophy husband who gets to bum around Capsule Corp and train and drink beer and screw all day. But
he actually lucked out in the end. No job, bangs a hot millionaire wife or a millionaire girl.
Next to Krillin getting with 18, Vegeta's the king of life.
Oh God, man. Or what are some of the other ones out there? Was Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, weaker than Super Perfect Cell. It's
Okay,
like,
they never directly fought. That one's understandable. Like if
that
it
one
weren't
I
for the
can
beef,
kind of understand based off of the context surrounding that stuff.
yeah, because that was settled with a beam clash. That wasn't a direct fight.
Mhm.
But
What else
but
want to
yeah,
know? Oh, if Goku could have defeated Kid Buu, it's like obviously no.
no.
And when people say, but he said he could. You know what, guys? I also say I have sex with women. Do you guys believe that?
Wait, what?
I was saying a lie. You know, it's not just a lie. It's like sometimes the characters are right, sometimes the characters are wrong. Just or there's another one that keeps popping up. Like, was Majin?
How you doing, Miss Sparkles?
or like when someone keeps bringing up, was Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 2 Goku stronger than Gohan from the Cell games? It's obviously yes.
Yes. Now, okay, a better debate would be, now since you bring that up, a better debate, would Vegeta have beaten Goku in a proper battle with the Majin Amp? Only and when that's twofold. One, Toriyama didn't debut Super Saiyan 3 until a few chapters later. So I will give that caveat.
Or you're saying if they just didn't have, if he did not have Super Saiyan 3 in his back pocket, would he have just won straight up?
Yes. That's what I would say is
that's a hard. See, that's the better. Yeah, that's the actual better debate though, because people automatically give Goku the win because he has Super Saiyan 3 in his back pocket, which is obviously he would have won if he used it. But if he didn't have that in his back pocket, would he have won?
Not to mention, Goku was still given a 24-hour grace, and the more you use transformations, the more you use up that energy. So I don't think Goku would have used Super Saiyan 3 against Vegeta unless he absolutely had to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And even then, the purpose of that fight was to give Vegeta closure because Goku was content on staying dead.
You know what's crazy is the anime, I know it's not in the manga, but in the anime...
Oh, that entire fight was anime filler, and it was a masterpiece.
No, true. You know what's crazy is Goku was in Otherworld for like 7 years, and Vegeta's just on Earth training as hard as he can. And what's crazy is Vegeta's not training against any super hard opponents. He's just training by himself.
He's maintaining a routine, basically.
He was able to match up with Goku despite having been in the Otherworld. That's crazy to think about.
I know I'm coming across as a nerd here, but if I remember right,
fucking nerds.
Vegeta did, unless we're counting BoJack Unbound, which some people count as canon, some don't. But unless we're counting BoJack Unbound, Vegeta does grieve Goku choosing to stay dead for 2 years, then gets his mojo back, surpasses Gohan and what he was able to do against Cell, though it's not explicitly told by how much.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets and then depending on whether he had Super Saiyan 2 or not, Vegeta gets the Majin Amp to force Goku's hand into their grudge match.
Given that it had been nearly a full year since Dragon Ball Daima run ended in early 2025. Oh, Dragon Ball Daima. I'll be honest with you guys. That's the only Dragon Ball series I haven't watched. Basically, I just watched the highlights. The highlights from it is like Vegeta can do Super Saiyan 3, Goku has Super Saiyan 4, there's a Demon Realm. But that's pretty much it. As
a standalone project, I would say Daima's pretty good as a standalone.
Yes. Okay.
I wouldn't try to contextualize it within Super or even mainline DBZ or anything.
Yeah, Dragon Ball canon. People just going, oh, good lord.
Yeah, that's a topic for a different video.
Yeah.
But on its own, as a standalone, Daima is pretty good. I would recommend it.
Okay. And nearly just as long since the Dragon Ball Super manga first went on a definitive and indefinite hiatus, fans understandably had high hopes for this major event that promised to map out the future of Dragon Ball. To everyone's surprise, it actually delivered. Genkida Matsuri was a close to perfect as this kind of event could be, even when taking into consideration the few stumbles and disappointments that came along with it. So I will also say, when you're hot, rich, and good looking like me, there's never a disappointment, obviously. Also, I will say, a lot of people haven't even read the Dragon Ball manga. Good lord, man. Toriyama art style, man, beautiful, man, so beautiful when you actually have this stuff and own it. It's so awesome to just read this shit. I do have to get the rest of my Dragon Ball 3-in-1 collection. I know people say they get the original manga volumes, but in my own personal opinion, it's better bang for your buck if you just get the 3-in-1s. Just in my personal opinion.
The Kanzenshus,
yeah. In the lead up to Genkida Matsuri, social media was full of rumors and apparent leaks about what was soon to be announced at Dragon Ball's biggest event in years. Among those rumors was a complete OG Dragon Ball and DBZ anime remake. In a sense, fans actually did get that, though it wasn't in the form anyone expected. But to be fair, I'll be honest here, I know a lot of people have asked for that, to have Z and Dragon Ball animes remade more closer to the manga. Gonna be completely honest with you guys.
The Power, Mystical Island Adventure. Those remakes with better animation freaking exist.
I will say, given the fact that Toei weirdly treats Dragon Ball like a bastard stepchild, Dragon Ball Z Kai is like the best we're gonna get of that. That's
the closest you'll ever get.
Yeah, that window for that time period to even get that is over. That's been gone for decades at this point, guys.
The original serialization ended in 96. 97 if we're counting GT, and that was shit canned within the span of a year.
Bro, it's so bad if you rewatch that garbage. Oh god. Like
if you're gonna watch GT for completion purposes, just watch the sub. You're better off.
Please.
I beg you. I
actually beg. I'm not gonna do what Homelander did in the end season in the finale of The Boys, but I ask you, please do not watch that. I own that Dragon Ball GT shit on dub. Whoo, my goodness, ass is just in a sense. Okay, sorry about that. The first reveal of the night was a Dragon Ball 4th anniversary celebration video, which took many of the most iconic scenes from Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball manga and animated them to bring them to life in full motion. Yeah, that was awesome. It was a beautiful display that completely respects the art of Toriyama's opus without cutting any corners. The video titled Dragon Ball 40th Anniversary Special Video has been uploaded to Toei's official YouTube channel following their event's live stream. The video just goes to show how amazing a remake of OG Dragon Ball could really be if it was totally faithful to the source material. It's crazy. Outlets like this would always promote, having some deviations from the source material constantly, which is odd. But I will say this though, because like One Piece is getting that very, very soon. They're getting some sort of like One Piece Kai, where it's going to be a lot more condensed down from the previous anime with a bunch of those filler episodes attached to it. It's going to be, I don't know how many episodes. It's definitely not going to be as many as the first anime, but they're definitely having a more of a condensed version come out later next year, actually around February. And for now, fans will just have to settle for the next arc of Dragon Ball Super instead. If we got a faithful remake of the source material, that would give people the best clarity on Toriyama's full vision for Dragon Ball, just in general. But because a lot of people always say they love Toriyama, meanwhile they advocate for all those weird dub changes, which are not him. A lot of people got to understand this. So when it comes to anime, so like different from art, so like a TV show as a showrunner, right? So a TV show has a showrunner, and that's like a director for a movie, okay? So for anime, Toriyama was never the showrunner for Dragon Ball. Like with Bleach, Tite Kubo was never really the showrunner for Bleach. Like Masashi Kishimoto is never the showrunner of Naruto. So people would ask, who's running the show? That's the point. That's why things like mistranslations, that's why script changes, all this stuff is a problem, because the person that's actually making the product isn't really directly involved. And if they are involved, they come on way later.
Yeah, and it's in a consultation capacity.
Yeah, like Tite Kubo wasn't really involved with Bleach until midway through season 3, something like that. Remember factoring what happened before he came on? Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this stuff.
Oh no, in terms of structure, the Bleach anime was atrocious. The original run, it was almost Full Metal Alchemist bad.
Yeah, it's just also one of these things where people don't understand. Just complete context. Unless it's announced the creator of that anime and manga is directly involved in the show, they are not involved. Actually, you can watch any episode of any anime, scroll through the credits, and when you see showrunner or product leader, they're not there. They're credited because you don't want to get sued. Because imagine getting sued by Toei, not
for an adaptation. You have to credit them, even if they're the most despicable mangaka on your line. You have to credit them.
Oh God! by far the biggest major announcement of the night was that the Dragon Ball Super anime is finally coming back, or coming black. You get it? Goku Black? Sorry, guys. Had to do the joke there. Dragon Ball Super 2 became like a mythical pipe dream in the 8 years since Dragon Ball Super concluded with Ultra Instinct, Goku's climactic battle against Jiren in the Tournament of Power. Most fans had simply accepted it.
Ripoff.
God. He's always got to throw in the jabs tonight. You're good, man.
No, seriously. Go watch Yu Yu Hakusho. If you
That's my shit right there.
I know it's a deep cut, but Yu Yu Hakusho, solid anime, one of the best.
Yeah.
But compare Jiren to Toguro, and it is a complete ripoff. Jiren is literally just Toguro with the Sharingan. Tell me I'm wrong.
My boy, at least Toguro had hair. Jiren has no hair. Do you remember that episode? They're powering up against Jiren after Vegeta got like blue evolution, and Goku had he used it 10 times.
Kaioken, whatever.
Yeah. And Vegeta's like, this is my true form. Jiren just looks at him like this. God damn. They're like having this great monologue. The fucking scores. Yeah, you got the royal blue score going on and shit. All the gods are like, wow, Goku and Vegeta have gotten really a lot stronger in this tournament. Jiren's just like, that's cool. I really don't give a fuck, honestly. What a Chad. What an actual Chad. Dude's just and people think that guy is weaker than Gohan Beast Mode. That's crazy. Imagine that guy training after that tournament. He would be, in my opinion, one of, if not the strongest characters, if he ever comes back, if he actually trained. What a disgusting, overpowered character. Actually, I keep in mind, he's not really a villain. Like that, I think my biggest problem with Dragon Ball Super, they didn't really introduce a lot of new villains like Z did, or villains that are super memorable. I think the only real, because people say, well, Frieza, well, that's a villain from Z though.
Yeah.
People
That's like saying you canonize Cooler. Oh, Cooler was canon. Cooler. and as much as I would appreciate a canon Cooler arc, as much as I would appreciate that personally, it's just Frieza hype. He is still Frieza adjacent at the end of the day.
Yeah, is Champa a villain?
No.
I don't really consider Champa a villain though.
He's a petty twat. He's a petty twat who picks a fight with his brother, and the tournament is a way they don't rip the universe apart trying to kill each other. That's a brotherly squabble at best.
Like hit, no.
A mercenary that is actively nerfed from using lethal techniques in a combat tournament. Okay, yeah, it's a villain.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people kind of confuse villain, or you mean like an obstacle
or an antagonist?
Yeah. Like the only actual villain I think they've had was
Black
and Goku Black. Yeah,
Black / Zamasu, and
unless
Moro.
you count, do you count Gas as a villain?
That would mean you would have to count the Heaters as an ensemble. Now, me personally, I feel like the Heaters are just a BoJack ripoff. But more importantly, Alec himself is not much of a villain. He's a schemer. I mean, he leverages to get what he wants.
I would say the only villains we've had so far are like what, Goku Black and Moro. It's like it. Like I feel like that's Dragon Ball Super's problem, is like what would make Dragon Ball Z as big as it is compared to the previous series, which I'm not saying is bad. It's really, really good. The villains, like who people talk about Frieza constantly, Cell, Kid Buu, like Vegeta, one of the first villains of the series, Raditz, Nappa, look at the Ginyu Force, the androids, okay? Look at all those villains I just mentioned though. What does Super have?
Contrary to well, casual or a lot of normies, I'll just say normies for simplicity. Yes. Vegeta was not a dirtagonist or considered the rival or anti-hero. He was not the dirtagonist until post Namek or post Frieza onward.
Yes.
Up to that point, Vegeta was a secondary villain, almost an anti-hero in some cases.
Yeah, keep in mind, like the Saiyans, or you say Vegeta, the ultimate villain of that first arc. Yeah. That's their first villain is Vegeta. And well, Super's first villain is kind of just a guy you already saw him beat before. I mean, because we'll say Beerus.
No, that's an antagonist. And even then, that was just Beerus throwing a temper tantrum because Boo disrespected him.
Like Zamasu, Goku Black, and Moro. It's like the only three main villains. Yeah. And Goku Black, okay, keep in mind, there were some errors in there a little bit. You could have made it better, but I think Goku Black as an idea is a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
Moro as a concept is pretty fucking cool, honestly.
Even though he does get reduced. Yeah, I'm at Galactus, but Dragon Ball. A shame he gets reduced to a Cell knockoff by the end, but the concept is there.
Hey, leave my boy Toritaro alone. He just taken after his daddy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Most fans had simply accepted it as a tragic fact that given the complicated battle for the IP's rights that began following Akira Toriyama's death, Dragon Ball Super's beloved Moro and Granola sagas would never see an anime adaptation. This is the problem.
Wait. I'm sorry. Granola was beloved? No. Granola was mid. Granola was freaking mid. The whole thing boiled down to, the theme of cheaters never win. I get what you're going for, but the execution was awful.
I will say this though, the Moro arc is probably, in my own personal opinion, I think the Moro arc is the best Dragon Ball Super arc. I think that it feels
original arc, yes,
yeah.
As far as an original arc is concerned, yes, Moro is one of the best. I will give you that.
Because the Granola arc, guys, if they animate that, which we know they are eventually going to do, there's a scene in there about Bardock. I'm not going to spoil it because it's really controversial, and I don't like it either. Just pointing out. When that is animated and that is dialogue to you, you will not think that is beloved. Because that is ultimately one of the biggest bullshit cop-out things ever. Oh, sorry. When Bardock was fighting Gas and he had that thing
in the flashback.
Yeah. Whoo! I can't wait to see people's opinions about that. God
I will say this. It'll give you episode of Bardock vibes. Like you could tell, you could tell Toritaro thought about do I want to get Bardock Super Saiyan here? And reference that OVA.
Granola beloved? That's wild. That is absolutely wild. I guess toward the very end when
it improves by the end, but I wouldn't call it beloved.
You got Ultra Ego Vegeta. You got the very end with Black Frieza, I guess, but I wouldn't.
You had good moments.
What's crazy is I feel like that's where Super fails the most. These concepts can be very good. These are actually really cool concepts, honestly. The execution is just, woo, Nelly. Holy crap, can some of these be this bad? Thankfully, they were all wrong. Dragon Ball Super's upcoming Galactic Patrol arc anime adaptation was revealed at the very end of the opening 40th anniversary video, alongside a new key visual depicting Goku and Vegeta with Galactic Patrol symbols on their uniform. While there's still no confirmed release date for the Galactic Patrol anime, it is now in early stages of production, with most estimates speculating its release for either the end of 2027 or early 2028. I will say, if you're gonna, I don't know who they're gonna pick sub-wise to voice Moro. If you're gonna do dub, pick the Madara Uchiha voice actor.
Fun fact. He voiced, I believe his, I might be confusing him with Jigen from Boruto, but get the guy who voiced Seto Kaiba.
And for a sub version? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for the sub.
That'd be wild. That man would be going crazy. I can imagine getting Kaiba's voice actor from the sub and Madara's
dub actor.
Voice. That is a role. Give him that role. He deserved that role.
If y'all could if you have to pay extra to get him on the cast, do what you got to do. That is going to be worth every penny.
I will say, I'm usually pretty hard on dub voice actors. The Madara Uchiha voice actor is one of the rare dub voice actors where I will say, if someone preferred your voice over the other guys, I couldn't disagree with you. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at what he does.
He has range. Oh, by the way, so you scroll up. Mm-hmm. I know this is based off the original Genki
Isn't this Xenoverse 3?
Yeah, this was in a separate in the battle hour back in April. This was later confirmed to officially be Xenoverse 3. I know I'm spoiling a month-old press event.
Very good.
But yeah, I just want to go ahead and establish that now. This is basically Xenoverse 3. And then we're finally getting the 20th DLC for Xenoverse 2 to officially wrap up the story before going into this game. Seriously, they milked Xenoverse 2 for a decade plus. Seriously.
Dude, Kakarot and Fighter Z and Sparking Zero still getting stuff. These games they're trying to basically make Dragon Ball games live service games where they only have to just add DLC shit to them constantly. Now, then again, when do you think Xenoverse 3 is going to come out? Didn't they have a release date for this announced a while ago?
For the Battle Hour event in April, but I don't think they had an exact event. They did have a trailer, but I don't remember the event.
Right, yes.
But See.
Oh, one sec. Okay. Before Genkida Matsuri even began, there was at least one announcement that fans knew was definitely coming for certain, a brand new Dragon Ball video game. That was first announced on the Dragon Ball website alongside the Genkida Matsuri event, though the details of the game itself remained mysterious. At Genkida Matsuri, an initial trailer for the title pending game was finally revealed along with its Project Age 1000 temporary moniker and a new main character designed by Akira Toriyama. The new character is a Saiyan with short silver hair and a slender build, inviting all kinds of interesting fan theories in the days since his unveil. Some fans have even theorized he might be Broly and Chilia's distant descendant. Good Lord. While others have suggested his outfit could be a hint at him being a future version of the Great Saiyan Man.
I'm not a fan of shipping, but I literally just see Broly and Chilai as a version of Tarzan. Like that is literally all that is.
Still, others have found clues that could tie him into the Xenoverse series. While little is known about the game's actual gameplay, the temporary Age 1000 title refers to the actual year in the Dragon Ball timeline that the game takes place in. Since Goku was born in age 736, the game takes place at least 200 years in the future after the events of Dragon Ball Super. This Age 1000 time frame may be a way of tying the new game into the classic Dragon Ball Online MMO, which also would take place in Age 1000. More about the new game is set to be revealed during Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour on April 18th through 19th, which we're in May when we're doing this episode, so that's already passed. So, oh god. Sparking Zero got an update. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this earlier. I think this game kind of did not hit the mark that it intended to. Now, could it get better in the future based off what we've seen? Sure. You know,
but I would argue they overhyped this. Like, would you say this is the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 we all wanted as kids? Not even close. But is it good for what it is? It's good for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue some of these characters should have been base roster, like Super Saiyan Bardock, Demon King Piccolo, Super 17. I would argue some of these should have. You could have saved this. You could have saved all the Super and Tournament of Power character for DLC, because who really pays attention to the multiverse fighters outside of Tournament of Power anyway? I mean, those you could have saved for DLC slots, but since you were just going to code them in the game anyway. But
that was my big problem with this game, is that like some of the characters that they chosen initially, it's like, why do you have to make us wait for Demon King Piccolo and Super Android 18, like Super 17? Like, what the fuck?
I get GT's not well liked internationally, but God, I mean, we gotta wait for a whole DLC expansion for this.
Like that Daima. They had like Daima's.
Oh, you knew they were going to prioritize Daima. Daima was pure synergy. You knew they were going to prioritize that.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero producer Jun Furutanji revealed that the latest DLC and a major update for the celebrated Arena Fighter. The DLC features a bunch of new characters, including Bardock, Demon King Piccolo, Super 17. Oh yeah, just can't wait to play Demon King Piccolo one of these games. Good lord. The robust DLC also offers new outfits, new super attacks, new stages, and even a new gameplay mode. Not much was revealed about the new mode just yet, other that it'll be a single player. The Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC doesn't have a set release date, having only been announced as being currently in production and coming soon, though the game's roadmap lists its release for this summer. DLC aside, players will also be getting some free updates for the game. Free is the least you could do after how much money you were asking for this game when it first dropped.
Oh, they wanted top dollar. They wanted top dollar in the market for this game. I remember this game pre-orders being almost $100
for what's it called, Platinum Edition.
No, yeah, for pre-order copies. Not even for the deluxe edition. Deluxe were $150. Like, I remember this,
bro.
Like, somebody in the chat, please quote me if I'm wrong. Like, I'm seriously, they wanted top
dollar.
They
literally wanted top. It's like. No, I can't make that reference here. I will say
no.
It's like if you go to a used car salesman and he's asking for full retail price on a 2000s Honda. Like, no.
But with depreciation, okay, that's the kind of, you got to factor depreciation, man. So that's
true.
Example. But even then, but top dollar for a 2000, that's not going to happen. The depreciation alone is going to reduce everything to scrap. You might get like $3,000.
Players will also be getting some free updates for the game, including 2 new game modes: Mission 100 set for release this winter, and Survival Mode set for release in the spring. Previously announced upcoming DLC for both Dragon Ball FighterZ and Kakarot were also showcased at the event. So yeah, we got Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku in FighterZ. It's some really weird lines if you guys will hear that shit.
Yeah, and it's just a GT Super Saiyan 4 reskin. No major moveset change at all.
That was my biggest problem with Daima Super Saiyan 4 is it's basically just a recolor over the original. That's really all it is, kind of, right? But
yeah, and a bit more
Super Saiyan 4, but it's just we gotta be doing a little bit more extra with some of these transformations, you know?
And that's where you go into the Beerus remake.
Yeah, this is the big one. Of all the rumors that came about in the lead up to Genkida Matsuri, the one that was the most divisive was definitely that the Dragon Ball Super anime would be getting a full remake. As much as those early arcs were inconsistent in terms of animation quality, inconsistent, more like dog shit. Virtually, no one liked the idea of watching the Beerus and Golden Frieza sagas for the 4th time. The movies, anime, and manga were the first 3. But that's exactly what fans are getting.
Now, before we move on to this one I understand, because Beerus didn't do anything villainous. Like, say what you will about, the original Battle of Gods. It was kind of a return to form and a precursor to what was to come. But Beerus doesn't do anything directly villainous. He's an antagonist. He's a foil. And then he gets reduced to comedic relief almost immediately. Like, other than being a totem pole, other than being a goalpost to keep Goku and Vegeta motivated, he really doesn't contribute anything in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I would say he's an interesting obstacle character for them to always get stronger. But outside of that, I wouldn't really consider this guy a villain. It's one of those characters that is neither good or bad. They just kind of exist in the plot.
He's a chaotic. Yeah.
And I will say this though. Okay. So there's many layers to go through it, bro, and I'll knock them out easily. If you want, in my opinion, I guess before this comes out, the best way to watch Dragon Ball Super initially, just watch the 2 movies.
Watch the 2 movies and then go straight to episode 26 from there.
Yep. Because I'll be honest with you guys, that's what I did. You think I sat there and watched those episodes that I already saw in a movie? But there's different scenes in the show. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck personally. You could watch the movies. But first of all, the movies are better animation anyway. They're faster. They're more to the point. I don't know why anyone would choose to watch the show version over the movies if we could actually pick the 2. Then when you got the show version, you mentioned Toriyama earlier when you talking about the whole Dragon Ball Evolution movie like debacle and stuff. Toriyama usually has never done this. He actually was very upset with the animation quality of Dragon Ball Super. So if he's coming out and saying something, there's a problem with it, obviously.
I will say this though. They rushed Super production wise.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They hella rushed it because One Piece movie Gold. I believe it. I don't want to say it was Stampede. I want to say One Piece movie Gold for 2015 was still One Piece movie Red. I'm sorry, excuse me. One Piece movie Red was still in production at the time, and in Toei and One Piece is Toei's bread and butter. It is their gold mine. It is their Batman. So, if you really wanted to give Dragon Ball the momentum and return it deserved, I would have pushed Dragon Ball Super for a fall or winter 2015 release for the anime season. That way, it would have given you a couple of months to fix up the animation. But the DVD release is an improvement of those early episodes. I'll give them that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Dragon Ball Super Episode 5.
Melting faces. Like, I've seen it, not just the faces they make, the actual background is disgusting. The background of the characters is horrible. I don't even know what they were
real
doing.
Time. It's like they got a bunch of D-listers right out of art school. Like, hey, we're trying to wrap up this deadline for a summer release. Can you get these first 12 to 15 episodes animated in a couple of months?
I literally don't know why anyone would choose to watch the Super Anime's version of that arc over watching the movies. I would, and I know Dragon Ball people don't read. They don't read. They don't understand words. I'd rather you read the manga version than if we're gonna do that. If you want the literal easiest, read that. Please do not watch. That is actual garbage, and we know it's bad because if it wasn't bad, they wouldn't be bothered remaking it. It might only came out like what, about 11 years ago, right? About 11 years ago, roughly. Damn, it's fucking crazy. This time it's been 11 years. Holy shit! God damn. Fuck. But yes, so people have asked, like, are they wasting resources on something that has already come out in many different formats? Now, to be fair, there's a lot of things that get remastered in several different facets, guys. I mean, how many times has the original Star Wars movie been remastered?
At least 3.
You know? Like think about all the movies you love. They've been remastered quite a bit because, technology advances. Maybe they wanted to do certain things when they were first making it, but they couldn't do it due to limitations and all that stuff. I will say I'm fine with it. I'll watch it. I'll see how much better it looks. And apparently they're going to be using the team from the Broly movie, the one that's the best Dragon Ball Super movie. Good. Or is that going to be on the Moral arc? Maybe I'm misremembering that, but I know the Moral arc is going to have the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie team. I don't know who's going to be the team for this one. I'm assuming it would be the Broly movie team, but if it is, that's going to look fucking fantastic. Like this, I'm saying here, like, because I know a lot of people don't actually think this way. You can make something better, and they did not make the best first impression in the Super anime with that fight, and it got better. The animation got way better as the series went on, but first initially, yuck, actually disgusting, But I'll also say, people ask, well, why do we need it again? You know what? Why do we need any anime for that logic, though? For using that, why have anything then?
And you need to build momentum. Code Geass did a similar situation with its movie. They had to build momentum because it was so long since Code Geass's original syndication ended. So they released about 2 yearly recap films for about 2 years leading up to the newest one. And it was an altered ending.
Yeah, and that thing you brought up earlier with this, actually right here. So a lot of people have been talking about this because it's kind of been heavily rumored that after the Resurrection F Super remake is over, they're just going to go straight to the Moral arc. I will say this, though. If you want to kind of touch up those later arcs, all you have to do, kind of do what Dragon Ball Z Kai did. Condense them down. Like, re-release them, condense down the way you're going to do it for these, touch up the animation a little bit. You don't got to go through every episode. Just touch it up a little bit, add whatever quality you want to add to it, or whatever you think you didn't add the first time around, and just touch it up like that. I would say you have to remake the whole thing. Just
make an OVA out of it. Because, for example, the Tournament of Power and then Champa with the Tournament Destroyers, that's just a skirmish. I mean, even the Tournament Destroyer is barely 10 episodes with filler.
Yeah, and in the manga, that's like, what, 5 pages, maybe?
Yeah, the manga kind of... Okay, no. You're thinking of the Revival of Frieza.
You're right, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, in the manga, Revival of Frieza and Broly are both skipped over due to movie synergy.
Yeah, I remember they skipped over the Broly movie. I remember I was like, what? What's that? Yeah, crazy thing. One of the biggest announcements made during Genki da Matsuri was Dragon Ball Super Beerus one of the biggest announcements made during Genki da Matsuri was Dragon Ball Super Beerus, an enhanced remaster and partial remake of Dragon Ball Super first anime saga, set for release this fall, even though this was exactly what no one wanted. I wouldn't say no one. It's just kind of like, okay, all right. That's how I feel about it. It's not that I wouldn't care for it. It's like, okay, I could see the logic behind it. There's no denying that it truly does look far better than the original Dragon Ball Super anime already. The fact that Dragon Ball Super's Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga adaptation was already announced early in the event definitely helped soften the blow as well. If nothing else, Dragon Ball Super Beerus will be a fun placeholder to keep fans occupied until the Moral Saga anime finally comes out. And then we get the big one right here. The Dragon Ball Super manga remains in limbo following the biggest event in years. Yeah, so the Dragon Ball Super manga remains in limbo following the series' biggest event in years, which is a problem, okay? So when Dragon Ball Super ended, the manga obviously kept going, and you got arcs like the Moral arc and the Granola arc, and you had Obviously, they redid the superhero arc in the manga too. Then you had the arc afterwards where Gohan and Goku fight each other. Now, keep in mind, guys, the manga consistently going is good because it allows other
More
things
content.
to build up. Yeah, so you can build up new characters and new villains in the manga while we're waiting for an anime, right? Or episodes of the anime to come out. I feel like having the manga on hiatus was my biggest letdown from the event. And keep in mind, I know it's not their fault. There might be other different moving pieces I'm not, too fully aware of.
The official answer is that they did it. They shelved it in tribute to Toriyama's passing, and they had to, process that and get through the distribution rights with the estate.
Oof, gosh. And I know Toyotaro is currently the head writer of it. And apparently he's writing another series, but apparently he might be coming back to it very soon. Maybe he just needed some time away from it to, because as you guys know, from the anime industry, manga writing and drawing is hell sometimes. Yeah. And imagine every Dragon Ball fan bitching at you about some shit. It's just, I imagine you need a break sometimes. It's fine, but I feel like the manga is better to have for Dragon Ball Super long term. Not having it's one of those things where I guess we're just gonna have to rely on them making, I would imagine, filler until the manga keeps going, because like the hype after Black Frieza is kind of just done. They kind of missed the mark on that, unless it's reinvigorated with getting it animated later on when this comes to fruition after the Moral arc and the Granola arc, obviously. So yeah, I hope the manga comes back. I feel like the manga can do wonders for the series in the future. Having it gone, kind of sucks. You can kind of just build up things slowly and get new arcs, but we'll see how it goes. Genki no Matsuri was full of tons of big announcements, but fans didn't quite get everything they were hoping for. By far, the biggest disappointment of Genki no Matsuri was that the Dragon Ball Super manga was completely snubbed. Dragon Ball Super mangaka and Toriyama protege Toyotaro didn't even make an appearance at the event, and no news regarding the manga's year-long hiatus was shared via Jump editor Victory Uchida. With the Dragon Ball Super anime finally adapting the Moro saga, perhaps there is still hope for Toyotaro's manga continuation. Though, if the Galactic Patrol anime does well, it's hard to imagine the Dragon Ball franchise ignoring the value Toyotaro's manga can bring to the franchise, especially considering Toyotaro largely wrote the Moro saga himself under Toriyama's guidance. So, another thing why he might be taking a break. And keep in mind, it's understandable, but I get it on a business end and his end. All the credit is being given to Toriyama, but even though he's actually the sole writer of the whole thing, but Toriyama is the bigger selling name, so that's why they put it on there, because they feel like people are going to resonate with that more. The Toyotaro, Toyotaro can be a little bit more divisive. Oh, are you there? Oh. So let's see right here. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Dragon Ball Super is coming back huge. Also, there's
one last topic before we wrap up, because I just now noticed you changed topics on me before we went live.
Oh no, I thought you were sleeping.
No, we're good. I just had to step out for a second.
Oh, but are you good?
Yeah,
did you want to say anything about the manga's hiatus or Toyotaro?
You did lose a lot of momentum with the manga going on hiatus. I will acknowledge that. But I also understand with Toriyama's passing and delegating with the estate, putting the manga on the back burner. Now, I would say Toriyama's passing with the estate was the biggest factor. But if Toyotaro wanted to seize the time to take a break or try to get another series off the ground in the meantime, I wouldn't blame him, because I know how intense Dragon Ball fans can be, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's a combination of factors.
If this guy pretty much created Moro with Toriyama, this guy can definitely cook. This guy can definitely do good. I feel like people say his art, guys, that looks good. I don't know what people are smoking these days. I think this was completely fine, honestly.
Fun fact, he actually, not only was he a super fan, he went under a different name, Toyble. He actually wrote the infamous Dragon Ball AF, or at least one version.
I remember that. Yeah.
One version of Dragon Ball AF. So he can cook when he really wanted to, and he can mimic Toriyama's style pretty well. He's only gotten better at it over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the manga comes back, but that's all tied up into, Toyotaro and Toei and all that other shit. Hopefully it comes back sooner than later, because it'd be nice to have Dragon Ball, at least, because remember how it was weekly for a little bit there? And then I knew there was a problem when it became just monthly, so just one chapter a month.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crazy.
But I will say this, though. Star Wars, Mandalorian Grogu.
Yeah, I'll get your opinions about that really quickly before you head, because I know it's late for you, but you have to go to work tomorrow, I'm pretty sure.
I'm off tomorrow. I mean, I can stay up a bit.
You're good. So I'll ask you this. Because you watched it, I haven't. I probably have to wait to watch it on streaming because, I might be working 6 days coming up very, very soon. So what did you think about Mandalorian and Grogu? Do you find it, what's the best adjective to describe it? Mid, decent, good, safe. Okay, safe. Safe good or safe boring?
Safe good, because for all intents and purposes, it wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. It was just a season 4 condensed into a movie. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like a wrap up. It didn't feel like a finale. It just felt like, hey, we're losing our core demographic, our core audience. We need to build some momentum here. This might not move the needle a lot. This might even be a flop. But if we can move the bar a bit and get some momentum going, we at least did something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all you needed Mandalorian and Grogu to do. Even if this movie even does solo numbers, I would call it a miracle.
So I will say this too. I know there's been many articles about this. Like, maybe I'll cover them. I don't think I have time to. But the general sentiment of one of the articles from Variety was that younger audiences aren't resonating with Star Wars like the older audiences did. So I'll just point out to you guys, what do you think that is for? It's probably because it's not good. That would be a writing problem.
Yep.
That's literally a writing problem. Remember when there was
Luke Skywalker forced out. Han Solo, the actor was done. He just didn't want to put up with it no more. Leia Organa, deceased. May her actress rest in peace. I forget. Carrie Fisher. Thank you. It just came to me. There is no incentive or hook. And even then, Palpatine's actor, which I'm surprised he's actually still alive, believe it or not. A part of me is actually surprised he's still alive. He's doing good for his age. But yeah, it's just the sequel trilogy was just not good. It just wasn't. I mean, it crashed and burned almost immediately.
Like, the thing that bugs me is that there was articles that came out months ago before this movie came out where insiders were talking about that Disney is trying to essentially make new franchises to get younger men, boys interested, while simultaneously not realizing they own Lucasfilm and Marvel.
Arguably the biggest male-centric products that IPs and products available.
Crazy, right? Crazy. Why do you keep in mind they can make new stuff? Sure, they can, but you do realize you have the biggest male-dominated stuff. You have at least 2 of them. I know you have like 2 of the biggest IPs dominated by male presence. Why not just make that for your male audience though? And they highlight. Keep in mind this weird mythical unicorn about women is so cringe in most aspects. So a lot of these franchises did this where they apparently thought there was this like mythical unicorn of women, untapped potential out there, while not realizing most of the stuff is actually geared towards dudes. And if women did like it, there wasn't a lot of them, but they just kind of liked it the way it was. This weird like catering to a lot of them has really screwed a lot of them because women are going like, okay, because they not like, I would just say this, if you want to get them interested, you have to make stuff that they're interested in. They're not going to be interested in most of the stuff guys are into, rightfully so. Obviously, they're girls, Or how about make stuff centered around the girls in your franchise and make them worthwhile watching? Because most of the stuff, even when they make it for girls and it's geared towards girls as a product, most guys are watching it though. Because now they just don't realize this, your franchise is dominated by dudes. It's just, this is the thing kind of geared towards guys. Like growing up, did you always wonder why there weren't as many girls interested in this stuff and why you were always surprised when a girl was? Light bulb going off. Yeah, it's because it's demographic. It's just it's more geared towards men. I'm sorry, guys. This is just how statistics work.
If a product
if a product reaches a larger audience than its than its direct demographic, great. But it's not but it's not conventional. It's an exception to the rule more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to please everybody, you please no one.
No one. Yep. Like, no one uses this argument for Barbie. Most people understand Barbies are made for girls.
Like, it's a girl brand. No one's gonna argue that. Like, no one's even gonna refute that.
Yeah. No one. It'd be crazy to suggest otherwise, right? No. Barbie is for girls. No, it's not to say guys can't like Barbie if your kids do like it. If your young boys like Barbie dolls,
hey, whatever. That's on them. Good for them.
Sure. But they're not the target audience, though. They make Barbie dolls for girls because they know the biggest buying audience of it is women. Keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with that. And keep in mind, there was also nothing wrong with girls liking Star Wars. But then to suddenly just cater all towards the other one, that's not the highest paying one. That's not a good business decision at all. And then wondering why things are the way they are. This is the part you're going to get in. Also, people keep talking about like the EU and all sort of stuff. There's plenty of Star Wars comic books for a bunch of the iconic characters you can make movies out of, TV shows, anything. They just don't do it. They keep doing this weird thing of just Mandalorian and Grogu should not be the first Star Wars movie since 2019. Sorry, it just shouldn't be. It should be something more of like an event where a lot of people can get behind. And keep in mind, Mandalorian and Grogu has its audience. It's not that it's like that's nothing, but like you said before, it kind of feels like season 4 stitched up in a movie. Now, to be fair, you could argue that for all their shows. These are just broken down movies and TV show episodes, honestly. You know? Could you imagine She-Hulk, dude, in a movie for the MCU? That'd be the worst movie they ever produced.
Oh, God. That guaranteed Razzie Award.
Guaranteed worst movie they would ever make if that was ever a movie on the big screen.
Not just worst movie. No, guaranteed Razzie. Like, that actress would be roasted by all of Hollywood. It would have been atrocious. I actually would feel bad. Dear God, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, God. So that's my biggest issue when it comes to this stuff is a lot of people don't understand. You have to look, but do I have to understand the business side of it? It would make it better for you if you did, because you could understand why a decision is good or bad if you can understand it from a business point of view. It makes no sense from a business point of view, understanding that you have a 95% male audience and then trying to shift that towards women when women are probably like 10% of it, though. It makes no logical sense. And I know there's Disney shows out there. One of them, dude, said, oh my God, they were comparing like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones to this one, being like, well, those were not liked, and over time they were. It's like, no. Prequel movies were always prequel movies to me were always divisive. It depends on who you were around. If you had people who liked them around you, you probably liked them. If you had people that didn't like them around you, you probably didn't like them. Prequel movies are always divisive. Actually, Attack of the Clones, if the Disney movies never came out, Attack of the Clones would be the worst one. That'd be the worst Star Wars movie.
Hands down. Hands down.
Shite. Ugh. God, just it's like one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's bad.
It's literally just now. Granted, I am not faulting Hayden Christensen. I am not faulting Hayden Christensen because he grew into the role. I'm not faulting that, but it was just a whiny teenager going on traversing planets, and the only two major highlights of that film, outside the political intrigue, which really could have been saved for the novelization, if we're being honest. Mm-hmm. One was his crash out against the Tusken Raiders when his mom died. So the crash out scene, and the final battle, the final battle on Geonosis. Like, if you cut all the Anakin and Padme scenes in half, nothing in the overall story changes in the grand scheme of things. Attack of the Clones has an atrocious pacing issue.
Like, I think at this point, because Mandalorian and Grogu, let me look at the numbers really quickly before we head out.
Sure.
One second, guy. Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm pretty sure it made less money opening weekend than Solo.
Oh, no. Sure. It flopped bad. Like, I mean, it is. It even Solo performed better than this shit. At least Solo got like just under 100 million opening weekend. Like, Jesus.
Oh God. Okay, so they only have to that's it's not going to be it. Towards the Mandalorian and Grogu box office. Yeah, that's not okay. It's too early on Box Office Mojo. Let me do box office. I'll just put it in AI mode really quickly. AI mode. What we have here for the opening weekend. So good Lord, Good Lord. Holy mother of fucking shit. This is bad. This actually is worse than what I thought it was going to be. This is horrible, people. I'm not. God. What the heck?
Okay, how bad?
It just ignore her. She's literally insane.
Huh.
And I have 9 inches, and she surely cannot handle that. I'm joking, guys. They're all jokes here. All right. 33 million on its opening Friday, putting it on track for an estimated 91 million to $100 million domestic box office opening over the 4-day Memorial Day holiday weekend.
Jesus.
Guys, this movie cost about almost $200 million to make, not including marketing. Even if I took the lowest amount it's supposed to be made for, the lowest amount apparently it's made for is 144. Okay, cool. What's marketing attached to it? I'd imagined, since this was a Memorial Day weekend they're releasing this on, they spent like almost $80 to $100 million marketing this thing. That puts it about around 280. This movie needs about 600 minimum to break even. This is cooked. That's just beyond cooked. Yeah, estimated 160 to 170 was the estimate. That's the estimate, and it might be tracking,
not the budget estimate.
Yeah, so the estimate is at about 170 worldwide. That this is talking like after Monday, numbers are tallied. It's supposed to be at 170 as its estimate. That's now currently projecting to do 100.
So,
wow,
it's not going to move the needle. This is going to be a flop.
This is significant. So carries a relatively a lean 165 million. Get the fuck out. Lean 165. That's guys. When you factor in marketing to that, how much money they spend on marketing could be 100, could be 80, could be 50 million. Even if it's 50 million, that puts it at almost $200 million at box office. Sorry. If they spend about 50 million on this, that puts it at about $200 million for a budget. Even if it's 165, it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't understand this like lowballing people are doing with this movie. If this movie costs $200 million to make, it needs about 700 to break even. The Flash needed 700 to break even, and it took in pretty much 2 bags of chips and a bag of peanuts and a Coke. That's literally what it made, almost essentially. So, yeah, Star Wars is probably pretty cooked. Now, do I have a long lightsaber that I use to slay aliens in the galaxy far, far away? Well, I do have that myself. So, wrapping it up here, dude, do you have anything planned coming up you would like to let the audience know about?
Just gaming content on the channel, new collabs to be announced in the future. My Maul Shadow Lord review got pushed back to the technical difficulties I was having, but I was able to get that fixed. So now I just need to make a new recording on that. And like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yeah, it was great doing this. I told you guys, last time we did this, we were going to do an episode kind of talking about the Dragon Ball Super announcements that happened, in January. Just want to let you guys know, I'm supposed to be doing an episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. So the MSK Show will be back Monday, actually, and we're closing in on hitting 500 episodes. Am I going to be celebrating? Probably not. I think we've done enough celebrating. When we did my birthday, we did episode 300. I'm just fine with just doing the episodes and entertaining you guys at this point. So if you don't see a 500 episode celebration, it's because I pretty much just ultimately decided not to do it, and I'm just cool with just doing the episodes as they are, because I just love being a top. How was this? I love just being hot, rich, and good looking. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and I hope you